What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the real world. 24-year-old NFL player Marshawn Kneeland dies from self-inflicted gunshot wound after a police chase. Extremely, extremely tragic, man. My condolences to the family. This has got to be one of the hardest things that they could ever deal with, or they thought they would ever have to deal with. I sincerely feel for the family members, because when something like this happens, that's who really, really have to grieve and cope with that type of thing for the rest of their life. Suicide is something that is very, can be a very selfish thing. And I don't think a lot of times the people that do it understand that, or put that in, have that in perspective. You leave them behind a lot of unanswered questions, and just an open wound, But in any case, this young man, I want to discuss a few things about what happened with this case, because at first it was, I was like, man, what happened here? It didn't sit right with me, and I'm the first to always do my due diligence when it come down to researching and getting all the details laid out before I make an assumption. Because, when you make an assumption, man, you're always going to make an ass out of yourself 9 times out of 10. So I always try to get all the details in line before I go and say, draw a conclusion to things. And I did. That's why I waited a few days on this, because I know it's a very delicate subject. Family members are grieving and things like that, man. But just go over what they said happened. He had some kind of traffic situation. He ran from the police, high rates of speed, like he was in a Dodge or something. He could have been like a Hellcat. Them cars go extremely fast. So apparently he's in a county in Texas, to where, I know he's from Fresno, Texas. I don't know if he was in that part of Texas or not, but he's in whatever county he's in, which I definitely agree with this law. In some counties, they say that a cop has to stop. He has to cease following the person, in a traffic situation, when he has to cease pursuing them when that person shows that they're willing to put innocent lives at risk. They have to renege on the chase. And that's what the officer did. But they still stay in the immediate vicinity and things like that. And so when he ghosted the police, but when he ghosted the police, like I say, they canceled, the pursuit or what have you, but they did find his car crashed in the immediate surroundings, in the radius, of where they were trying to chase him in the beginning, and then they found his body with a self-inflicted gunshot wound in the immediate area. And I believe he was in a porta potty, and when I heard that, I'm like, man, that don't sound right. Why would an NFL player, a guy that got a contract for like $6 million and things like that, guaranteed, I think, like $2 million the first year or something like that, why would he take that? But like I say, I didn't, I always do my due diligence. So I looked into it, as the days went by, and it started coming out, a lot of things started coming out about this, because first out there, like, man, maybe the police shot him, and then something like that. But even with that, they're going to have to prove that they didn't shoot him, you know what I'm saying? Because they're going to have bullets pulled out this body and things like that. So I'm like, okay, if they did if there was some foul play on the police side, then they're going to have to, it's going to be proven eventually through forensics and ballistics. You understand? So But it all came out that he did text the family saying that he was gonna end it all. He texted his girlfriend saying that he was gonna end it all, and you know, it comes out he was going through some mental problems, man, some mental issues, due to mainly, he had his mother died back in 2024 of an just all of a sudden, from illness, and so he took that extremely hard. A lot of us, man, we make it, so we could put our parents and things in a better position. And he definitely was trying to do that for his mom and everything. But as he was making it into the NFL, going into his dreams, getting into his new life, his new stardom and things like that, everything's going good. At the same time, his mama died. So, uh, no, none of us are prepared for that type of thing. It's, especially at that type of young age, you know what I mean? And we don't know how we're gonna take these type of things when they happen. I just always say that, man. I know that, you know, one day we all gonna leave here. I'm gonna leave here. We all gonna lose our parents, and we supposed to lose our parents before our parents lose us. You understand? But it's still hard, you know, uh, to lose a loved one, in general, but especially a parent, you know. So I can't say how a person should take it, you know. I can't. I don't know how that feels. But and in the case this young man, I think that really contributed to this young man's demise, man. Uh like I say, man, this is a crazy world. This could be a very wicked place that we're living in. It's not it's not forever, and I think that, if he would have, you know, hung in there a little bit longer, man, I think that he would have been able to grow to cope. He would never forget his mama, but I think that he would have been able to cope just like his mama probably coped with the loss of her parents. I'm pretty sure she probably lost her parents. That's another way to look at it. We not exempt to that. Nobody's exempt to that. When you lose your parents, you gotta think about 9 times 10, your parent lost their parents. And they didn't they didn't kill themselves, and they learned to cope with it also. But um I'm not the judge and jury on how somebody gonna do something, and how they feel on things, stuff like that. I'm not saying that by no means. This is very tragic. And mental health is something major, man. Um, you got to be able to cope, man. You got to be able to keep pushing through anything. Keep pushing through anything, man. I'm a strong believer in that you can get through anything that you're willing to grow through. I mean, that you're willing to go through. You know what I mean? Uh, if you can get through it, then you're gonna grow through that. And when you face with that same type of circumstance again, you're gonna be that much better at coping and getting through that, because life is a roller coaster. You understand? When something goes wrong in your life, don't stop where that issue transpired at. That issue just transpired. Okay, you can't do nothing about it. It already happened. Keep pushing. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. And get what you're going to do. Eventually, you're going to be looking back at that. If it happened here and you stay here, you stuck here, that ain't going to be no good for you or nobody else. But if it happens and you keep doing this, it's going to hurt regardless. You just keep doing this, keep moving, keep moving. Eventually, you're going to look back at that. That didn't make you. It damn sure ain't going to break you if you keep pushing. He had a lot of life to live. It didn't have to end now. A lot of life to live, man. I know he got the little young chick that he messing with or what have you. I don't know what kind of. I know a lot of times like our spouses be the closest to us, even though you got family things like that. Like your family, you ain't with your family 24/7. You know, that his spouse, maybe she could have alerted, authorities quicker. I don't know if they had a issue. A lot of time these things transpire within a week, and things get hectic through, and it don't happen like all of a sudden. He probably didn't flash all of a sudden. I'm not saying that was the case, but hopefully she saw the warning signs and alerted either family members or some kind of authorities before this happened, because she gonna have to live with that on her conscience. That, man, maybe I could have did a little bit more. Not saying it's her fault, but I'm just saying, when I'm just with all of us, I'm talking to everybody. When you see a loved one going through something and they acting different, you have to take these things serious, because you don't know. You don't know, man. Do all that you can do. None of us can play God, but do all you can do, because for this young man to lose his life with all this promise in his life, at 24, man, you really just getting started. Uh Fuck the football shit. He was getting started in life in general. He got a lot more life that he had to live, man. And for it to go down like that, man, it's a sad situation. But in any case, man, that's my thoughts on that one, man. Uh, Peace be upon Marshawn Kneeland, and his family. I hope that they're able to cope with that situation. Uh, but the next time, it's been real. I'm Will, and I'm just trying to get y'all to think about it. Peace.